We're about to hear from one of my heroes in the Bible, so here we go.
If we were given an option to ask God for anything, he's like, I'll grant it to you. Would we ask for something that would just benefit ourselves? Or would we ask for something that would be better for humankind? We are not naming one of our kids after Harbona.
We might, okay? Harbona? No. We definitely might name it. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this next episode of Out of the Shallows. Guys, we are so thankful that you are here. As always, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is a series that we're doing, and so you're jumping right on in. Jumping right on into the deep end, I guess. Hence the name of the show, Out of the Shallows. But anyways, we definitely have other episodes if you want to get caught up, if you feel behind, because we've been going through the book of Esther, and we've been having a lot of fun going through this. There's been so many interesting theories that we've heard. There's been so many interesting side stories that we've heard. There's been a lot of amazing hardcore history context. Honestly, babe, this has been so much fun. This
really
book
has been.
Once again, welcome. My name is Alec Bevere, and I am sitting across from the most beautiful Madeline Bevere, but you can call her Maddie. So we're going to dive right on in. We're going to finish chapter 6, and then we're going to go to chapter 7. In a brief summary of what just happened, Haman had to go and give a parade to Mordecai. And he had to honor Mordecai, and he's obviously the person who he does not love, he does not like, and he's very upset with him, and he's trying to kill him anyways. And he was going on his way to kill him, but then his plan had failed.
Yeah, because of Mordecai, he actually was bent on killing the whole Jewish population. But then Mordecai was so on his nerves, he's like, actually, you know what? I'm going to go kill him tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I'll kill the rest of them later. And so it is, they call it the most Shakespearean, comedic section of the Bible. Theologians say it is the most comical in all the Bible, this scene that we just looked at. So guys, head back to the last episode if you want to see what we're talking about there. But yeah, we're going to be jumping straight back in to chapter 6, verse 12 to 14. We are reading in the New Living Translation. Baby, do you want to kick it off?
I would love to. So as Maddie said, we're going to be starting in 6, but actually, you know what? Let's start at 13. And just a reminder, guys, Haman went running home, and he's totally mortified. When Haman had told his wife, Zeresh, and all of his friends what had happened, his wise advisors and his wife said, "Since Mordecai, this man who has humiliated you, is of Jewish birth, then you will never succeed in your plans against him. It will be fatal to continue opposing him." While they were still talking, the king's eunuchs arrived and quickly took Haman to the banquet Esther had prepared. Babe, I know that we already have some stuff that we want to share. Do you want to share first?
Yeah. I feel like there's a little bit of foreshadowing here. For the very first time, everyone's been like on Haman's bandwagon. They're like, yeah, Haman this, do this. Haman, you should do that. Yeah, get your revenge. And now they're like, whoa, hold up. This man is Jewish.
Yeah.
Hold up. Nothing that you're going to do is actually going to succeed. And I would just wonder how familiar they were with the story of the Israelites and the story of the Jewish people at large, just because as soon as his nationality is mentioned here, because it's Mordecai the Jew, it's not just Mordecai.
Yeah.
As soon as his nationality is paired with his name, they're like, ooh, Haman, you need to back up. But before they even have a chance to do anything, or Haman has a chance to do anything, he's like rushed off by the king's eunuchs.
You know, I wonder here, because it does say Haman's advisors. And so if these are Haman's advisors, they're definitely advisors to people who are high up in the kingdom. And as we mentioned in another episode, this is after, King Nebuchadnezzar. Who was it? Was it Cyrus or
Darius?
Darius, or maybe, yeah, it might have been Darius. Regardless, the king's advisors were the ones that tried to kill Daniel.
Interesting.
Yes. And so who knows if even some of these advisors had remembered that, and they're like, oh, wait a minute. In the past, Daniel was tried to be killed, and he was of Jewish origin, and that did not turn out well. And so, I don't know, that's just an Alec opinion right there. But yeah, you're right, babe. It's very, very interesting.
So jumping into chapter 7. So the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet. On this second occasion, while they were drinking wine, the king again said to Esther, "Tell me what you want. Queen Esther, what is your request?
Babe, if you don't mind, let me stop you just for a second. Just to remind everyone, because I didn't say this in the recap, Esther is going to the king because she wants to ask the king to actually literally save her people. And so she first appeared before the king, and it was this very kind of like tensiony moment that like she could have died by going to the king without being requested. And then she invited Haman and King Xerxes to the first banquet. And this was in the last chapter, but now this is the second banquet, as you just said. So go for it. I just want to give a little more context.
No. Okay, so what is your request? I will give it to you, even if it is half the kingdom. Queen Esther replied, if I have found favor with the king, and if it pleases the king to grant my request, I ask that my life and the lives of my people will be spared. For my people and I have been sold to those who would kill, slaughter, and annihilate us. If we had merely been sold as slaves, I could remain quiet, for that would be too trivial a matter to warrant disturbing the king. Who would do such a thing? King Xerxes demanded. Who would be so presumptuous as to touch you? Esther replied, this wicked Haman is our adversary and our enemy. Haman grew pale with fright before the king and the queen. Then the king jumped to his feet in a rage and went out to the palace garden. This is a bad day for Haman. This has been a really rough 24 hours for Haman.
Yeah, it's a rough 24 hours, but I mean, there's lots of interesting things happening here. I mean, first of all, again, this is another Alec opinion. I wonder what Xerxes was thinking at this moment. It seems like he's really frustrated with Haman, but almost I wonder if he just can't find anyone who he can trust. I mean, we know that he trusted Haman with the plot against the Jews, and he said, hey, no, like, let's go right ahead and like, let's do this. And he trusted him, but then
he didn't even know it was the Jewish people. He trusted him so much. He was just like,
that he said, yeah, you just go right ahead.
Go for it. Whatever you say, do it.
But Xerxes has all these different people that have tried to assassinate him. He has different people who have done all these different things to him his whole life of like trying to kill him. He's had so many enemies. And I wonder if like he saw Haman as actually a friend. But then in this moment, he's just like, I can't trust anyone. But
and
anyways,
just feeling so betrayed. But Haman had no idea of what was coming. And I think that's very intriguing. Like, we all saw it coming. Even Zeresh saw it coming. Even his wise advisors saw it coming. They foreshadowed it. But Haman didn't really see it coming until it was right in front of his face. And I love Esther here.
Yeah.
And the way that she still preserves the honor of King Xerxes. Because she could have pointed a finger and said, you and Haman issued a decree, but rather she made it all about Haman. And so rather than trying to make King Xerxes, I don't know, like a partner in crime, I guess, she removes him from the crime and basically makes it all about Haman.
Yeah, well, I mean, she also even honors him whenever she says, if we were being sold off to be slaves, I wouldn't even bother you with something like that because it's too trivial to bother my king. And so there's another area of just honor. And last episode, we were talking a lot about how Esther was being so strategic. And this is yet again another moment where she's being strategic. She's not pointing blame at the king, even though it was the king's fault. He did get drunk and like made this crazy decree, and it was not a good decision, and it had his stamp of approval.
He got drunk.
He got drunk. He got drunk after the decision, but like he still gave his stamp of approval. He still gave his signet ring to kill all these people. Yeah. And so you're right. It could have easily been like, no, this is your fault, king.
Yeah.
But no, she doesn't do that.
And Esther identifies herself with the people not by their nationality, but rather by their fate. And I think that's very interesting that she kind of empathizes with the plight of her people. And that's the way that she reveals that she is, in fact, Jewish. But I mean, she could honestly like go to the king and ask him for anything. I mean, this is kind of like, I don't know, don't believe in genies, but you know, like 3 wishes, rubbing the magic lamp. If you could have anything, like what would it be? Yeah. And Esther uses her wish to save her people and not just herself. Yeah. And so I did think like, man, if we were given an option to ask God for anything, he's like, I'll grant it to you. Kind of like how like he did with Solomon, and Solomon asked for wisdom. Yeah. would we ask for something that would just benefit ourselves or just save ourselves? Or would we ask for something that would be better for humankind at large?
That's good. That's good.
It made me
Maddie.
think about that
That's
a lot.
good.
But yeah, you see Esther, she's attacking Haman's role and character. She accuses him of conspiracy and basically casts him as not only her enemy, but also the enemy of the king.
Yes.
And the enemy of all people. So she is
Totally
so
vilified him for sure.
wise. She
Yeah.
is as innocent as dove, but as cunning as a serpent in all these situations. Like she really knows how to navigate King Xerxes, especially in this honest society, in a way that is still submitting to the powers in place, but speaking truth to it.
Yeah. She kind of gave Xerxes, would you say like no choice? She's kind of giving him like this big ultimatum of like, hey, am I right or is Haman right?
Like, choose your side. And she
Yeah.
probably didn't really know what kind of influence that she had, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Haman's had a lot of influence in the life of King Xerxes. And Esther, we haven't really seen any outplaying of influence other than her asking for him to come to banquets. And that's kind of it. And so I bet he's wondering in this moment, like, who is he going to decide between? Like, is he going to pick me or is he going to pick his best mate, Haman?
Yeah.
You know?
No. I mean, the implications, like they could be anything. Who knows?
Because of the implication.
Okay, verse 6. So Esther replied, "This wicked Haman is our adversary and our enemy." Just recapping really quick. Haman grew pale with fright before the king and the queen. Then the king jumped to his feet in a rage and went out into the palace garden. So we know he's in the palace garden.
Yep.
Haman, however, stayed behind to plead for his life with Queen Esther, for he knew that the king intended to kill him. In despair, he fell on the couch where Queen Esther was reclining, just as the king was returning from the palace garden. The king exclaimed, "Will he even assault the queen right here in the palace before my very eyes?" And as soon as the king spoke, his attendants covered Haman's face, signaling his doom.
I mean, saying that he's assaulting her, isn't that a little strong? And so we did some research, because obviously he's not assaulting in like the sense of how we probably think about it in like today's modern terms of like he's not hitting her or he's not, sexually assaulting her. So what exactly is this implication that he's giving here?
Yes.
Because of the implication.
So, I mean, it says Haman, however, stayed behind to plead for his life with Queen Esther. And so in despair, he fell on the couch. And so what we actually know from Near Eastern societies and looking back into history was that they would often like recline on couches at their feasts. So Esther was probably already reclining on a couch. And then in very Near Eastern form, Haman probably grabbed the feet of Esther, kissed them, and begged for forgiveness, because that was typical of culture. It was a way of showing extreme regret and extreme remorse and asking for repentance. But you got to understand this as well. So Persian custom, you are actually not allowed to be left alone with a member of the king's harem. So when Xerxes got up and left and went to the palace garden, Haman should have really left the room, and he should have left Queen Esther in that room by herself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a good point, because it does even say in the Bible, however, he stayed behind. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then the Persian custom was also that he wasn't really allowed within 7 steps of a member of the king's harem. So not only are you allowed to be left alone with a member of the king's harem, you're not even allowed within 7 steps. So here we are, and we have Haman choosing to break court etiquette in a last attempt to save his life. And he realizes that the power is not with Xerxes, but rather Esther, a Jew. And all this time, this whole thing started with Mordecai, a Jew, not bowing down to Haman. And now we have this visual of Haman bowing down to
Esther.
a Jew.
Wow.
It's the grand reversal. We're going to just see reversal after reversal after reversal. Things
Yeah.
that were done in the first couple chapters starting to be reversed in the last couple.
Seems like everything is falling apart for Haman, but let's just see how everything ends here. I believe we're at verse 9? Okay,
Verse
here we
9.
go. Oh, we're about to hear from one of my heroes in the Bible. So anyways, here we go. Then Harbona, one of the king's eunuchs, said, "Haman has set up a sharpened pole that stands 75 feet tall. And for all the people out there listening in Australia, that's 23 meters, I believe.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
I'm
yes.
impressed that you know
but
that.
75 feet tall in his own courtyard. He intended to use it to impale Mordecai, the man who saved the king from assassination, then impale Haman on it, the king ordered. So they impaled Haman on the pole he had set up for Mordecai, and the king's anger subsided. So, I mean, this Harbona guy, I think it's so funny. So, like,
we are not naming one of our kids after Harbona.
we might, okay?
For the
Harbona. No,
record.
no.
No,
We
that is
definitely
a
might
hard
name
no.
it Harbona. Thank you for the correction there. No, we might, because this guy is hilarious, in my opinion. So, I mean, if you think about it, like right away, the people went ahead and covered his face, right? But then on top of that, Harbona's like, hey, guess what? Haman has set up a 75-foot tall pole. Like, it's just like he's totally like instantly
so sneaky.
throws Haman under the bus. And it kind of is interesting, though, as well, because if you think about it, Haman, just as you said, he got upset whenever Mordecai was not bowing down to him and showing him respect, right? And now here's a man who finally gets the chance to speak out against Haman, and he instantly does it.
Oh, he jumps on
Like
it.
he
He's
jumps
like,
on it as if he's
you don't
been
have to
waiting for this moment.
ask. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, and it just shows that, you know, in life, guys, if you're in an area of authority and you have people under you, it's not a thing to command respect of people. Or it's not a thing to command admiration of people. It's something that really is earned. And so you can even see, who knows, if Mr. Harbona here, you know, loves and respects Mordecai. Like, he may respect him way more. And so it's just interesting to see that respect is not something that you should command. It's something that is actually given to you.
It's such a plot twist, I bet, for Haman, out of everybody else. He's the one who's probably like, what the heck is going on? But,
Yeah.
I mean, he has fallen from honor, which we just talked about. It was kind of like a self-inflicted honor. Is that the right word?
It's the right word today. I actually can't. It was self-proclaimed honor.
Self-proclaimed
kind of like King Julian,
honor.
the self-proclaimed, you know, king.
Julian from Madagascar.
Yeah, he was the self-proclaimed king.
I want that to be fact-checked.
Presenting your Royal Highness, our illustrious King Julian XIII, self-proclaimed Lord of the Lemurs, etc., etc. Hooray, everybody.
So Haman, he falls from honor to shame. And I mean, when your head is covered, in Greek and Roman cultures, criminals' faces were actually covered when they were taking them away to be executed. And so we don't definitely know if this is the same in Persia and if it was customary in Persia, but there is a strong likelihood that it was, since the Greeks and the Romans did it. But anyway, so we see Haman falling from honor to shame.
Yeah.
And then we see, I mean, Esther, from the grieving and the fasting and all the rest of it, kind of moving from place from shame to honor, and just the Jewish people at large from a place of shame to honor.
Yeah.
And so I know
Wow.
we're going to see more of that unfold, because we still have another 3 chapters to go.
This was a quick episode today, I know, and it's pretty interesting how quickly things wrap up. It's very, very interesting how just boom, all of a sudden the threat is just eliminated.
Even just like the build up, like things were taking place over years and years, and Haman and his plot and all the rest of it, there was so much thought, there was so much things going into it, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden God undoes it in a second.
Yeah.
It's just within 24 hours, everything that Haman had kind of sought to achieve collapses right in front of him.
So good. So guys, we know that this has been, like I said, a quicker episode, but we love hearing from everyone. I do want to mention that really quick. We've even gotten some interesting just comments from people about other things that they've heard and things like that. So please, guys, go right ahead. You can always send in comments to us. We love it. Please give us even feedback, like how we can even do things even more fun and make this more interactive, because we do want it to feel like as we're going through these books, we're going through them together. So everyone, again, thank you so much for tuning in today, and make sure just to like and subscribe if you want to continue to hear the rest of this book. Like I said, we still have 3 chapters to go, and so we still have some other really interesting insights that we want to share with everyone. But it has just been just a pleasure for everyone being here today. Babe, is there something you want to say?
Yeah, and I know like the like and subscribe, that can seem like,
Oh yeah,
every single person says that on every video, but it really does, like if you would consider are doing that, it really does show us that you actually are enjoying this content, that you care about this content, that this is something that you actually think is worth investing in. And so no pressure there, but if it is something that you're really resonating with or enjoying, it kind of just shows us that you are. And so otherwise, it's just a number of views.
Please consider subscribing. We are so thankful again that you guys tuned in today. In the meantime, until next time, I guess actually I should say, not in the meantime, but my name is Alec.
And I'm Maddie Bevere.
And this has been
Out of the Shallows.
Out of the Shallows.